laps, the initial lap, if you will, the way that they will charge up the battery, regenerate as much energy as they possibly can before they go for it on the next lap. So we'll watch for a bit of that. There is a lot that I think will unfold in this session. We're scheduled for an hour. On behalf of the FIA, the Sports International Governing Body, Formula One Management, to Travis Old and all of the team at the Australian Grand Prix Corporation. I think Cam reflected on this before. Albert Park looks amazing. A huge Friday crowd is here. There's been a lot of work go on over the past months, 12 months in fact, to get us to this point. And the place looks great. If you're a fan of sport, this is motor racing's answer to the Australian Open. It is such a great afternoon.
Before I get serious and switch on for this session to give you as much information as possible, Rusty, I know I love to give a couple of shout-outs. We get a lot of messages in on social media. I'm a football coach as well, Rusty, and I've got a lot of my young players in under 12s this year out there. Noah, Charlie with their dads, Adam and Andrew. Now, Adam and Andrew, whenever I see them at an oval, all they want to do is talk Formula One. Two father-son combos out there. Noah, I know you're going to have a good footy season, mate. Enjoy Formula One. This kid's a tragic. All he wants to do is talk F1 at a footy field, and I love that. Not secretly, openly love that.
We are about to go green on this session, and that's a nice little segue, Cam, bringing that up. Younger fans of the sport, we have endeavoured with this event in all sorts of ways to embrace young talent from an engineering perspective, through media, you name it, and the sport's incredibly good at that. And we're honoured to have back with us again this year, as we've done in the last couple of years, from the DRS Zone podcast. He's 17 years of age, an aspiring broadcaster who loves this sport immensely. Sam White, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to get this practice session underway.
We're looking inside. Audi, Mattia Bonozzo is there. They had a really solid start to their weekend, and Lawrence Barretto reflecting on that a moment ago. They've come out of the blocks in a new era. What was Sauber, now very much driven by the
session. Of course, if we look back to Bahrain in testing, Audi were very strong, somewhat even argue. The cars were pretty quick, they got light.
The people outside in the build-up to this session around Gate 1, merchandise alley is there. That is packed through there. So about to head out, Cam.
Fastest driver in this session. Numbers over the journey of Albert Park, which will be coming here. 2021, little time where we had a slight blemish on the record books that ruins all of our anniversaries. 30th year, I should say. It's been the 10th year since I started calling Formula One as well, Rusty. Front wing changes. Later, so I'm watching because that will be contact in pit lane. Actually, it's probably yeah, that's a weird one. George looked like he was ready to go, and then approach to pit lane, the fast lane is sacrosanct. Very early, back out on track, looking like he's right here.
Was that some sort of engine issue? It looked as though Colapinto could not get the revs high enough. He was stuck in gear almost.
And I mean, it's a question mark, obviously, Sam, what you're raising there. With a 1 minute 21.30. We saw quicker than that, obviously, in practice session 1 from his teammate Kimi Antonelli, then Lewis Hamilton, Isaac Hadjar, and Liam Lewis. Obviously, there was an issue that you talked about at the beginning of the session, but he came back and finished it strongly. Oracle Red Bull Racing, Max Verstappen back. See if we can get some clarity. Louise Goodman is obviously over in the paddock for us at the moment, and see if we can find out what has actually happened there. But sounding like it is potentially stuck in gear.
Getting a lap or two in, seeing what the car feels like.
Ongoing work, wasn't there, on the 14 of Norris has had a lap. coverage, exits there, driving unnecessarily.
Expect to see this session last year 160. Window in terms of top speed for this new generation. Very similar straight line performance in terms of outright speed. We watch now. The circuit or the lap as well. Won't be. Hard compound for the top runners. They're pushing on. Again, Fernando Alonso yet to take to the track.
Session. So Oscar Piastri's just jumped up to position 3. You can see him if you're watching our big screens there, third on the totem behind Lewis Hamilton.
And here comes Kimi Antonelli in his second season in Formula One. So
and helping to inspire some youngsters. Karting Australia doing some terrific things in that regard, and we're very, very grateful that Kimi could pop out there and do that. Back we go to Lewis, personal best in the first sector, middle part of lap on as the limit there as well off the exit. Now lining it up on the main straight, last sector. What's Specator out of the way. Back we go to Fernando Alonso. That's encouraging. Maybe he can get some running in this session.
Here's Ollie Behrman then around the back side of the track. Haas are a very interesting team. Testing was nearly faultless for them. They were so quick. They Six go out in Q1, 6 go out in Q2.
Left of your screen, we're watching Oscar Piastri for a reason. He's the order now because Antonelli has moved to the top, as Sam Wyatt said there a moment ago, from Hamilton and can do. to find the 0.275 that he...
and then came back in. The hunger and desire, but he keeps on keeping on. It's not going to be a quick weekend for them.
You wonder, are they going to go for it here, or is it just a lap or two, a bit of mileage, and then back to the garage?
It was clear, I think, when Louise Goodman spoke with Adrian Newings in principle. Scenario here experiencing, and the talk from the drivers, of course, is a fear around nerve damage. Back we go. Here's on board.
Someone got an exit here. Goes wrong there. It's a big accident. He's okay. His Isaac Hadjar. To give you an idea of the timeline so far on a 7-lap old hard tyre.
Surely not. Half a lap in.
No, I think this is about let the track there, let others by him. Is this a problem?
Is he stuck in gear? The nerve damage. Lance Stroll, if you remember, has
with under 45 minutes in his second practice session here at Albert Park. This might give us a bit of a clearer picture of how much closer he is to Oscar. Running in that first practice session.
The first lap to put on a hard compound tyre. Mercedes haven't shown their hand. Relatively fresh, hard compound tyre. He's running a similar strategy for this practice session to that of Oscar Piastri. He'll be building in a race simulation run. You'll often see of the tyres. We'll see his first Leclerc, they want to stick with him. It's not going to be an overly great lap. No, I think right now, George Russell is the fastest of all to the first sector. Leclerc rolls out of it. So this is the first of the indicative times on the soft compound. Kimi Antonelli also out on a soft compound tyre. So George Russell round the back part of the circuit. It's been fastest of all through the first two sectors. Just how quick will it be? 3/10 was the time advantage on that of Oscar Piastri at the same point of the lap. We'll stay with him. It's early on, 40 minutes still remaining, 41 and change still remaining in this session. They've tidied up. Turn number 12 rotates through 13. He takes a nice easy line there. Now let's look at the... Now he goes into the slippery mode. It'll be the fastest time. Nearly 6 tenths clear. That's all tyre and more time to find. But interesting that Mercedes is already on the soft compound tyre and almost into the one. Watching his teammate from the end.
Personal best in the first sector. He's .012 off his teammate. So Antonelli looking strong here as well. Also on the soft rubber.
The only two drivers other than the Aston Martins of Stroll and Alonso on the soft compound tyre. So Antonelli, he's down on Russell, runs wide, doesn't have the grip there through turn number 10 on exit, up to turn 11, hard stop. Lighter calipers on board, got some decisions to make as a team. Some of them didn't even want to run rear brakes. Misses his apex on entry. He was a little bit away from Russell. How much did that hurt? So the only two indicative times on the soft compound tyre.
That time lost around, I guess, turn 10, Cam, when he ran over the ripple strips really decently. Back we go with Lewis Hamilton, personal best. You can see it's green. We're often looking for purple to tell us if it's
Verstappen after that issue. 20 minutes is a lot of running that he's missed.
That's a good point. There's his teammate at the moment, Isaac Hadjar. So 6th at present. Inside Mercedes AMG, Pete Bonington.
And there he is.
Yeah, right on cue. So
speak of him.
Clearly listening to you, Sam, there. So work continuing on Max Verstappen's car.
Who's in 8th. And there's the Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso back in the garage as we presumed.
So Lance Stroll on his out lap. Going to start a lap now. He did 3 laps in that last session. None of them would have qualified for the Grand Prix. Accelerates down to turn number 1. Watching the replay of Kimi Antonelli on the exit of turn 10. It also got loose at 13 where he missed the turn in apex. It cost him a significant amount of time. Lance Stroll down through turn 3. See how far away he is from that time set by George Russell of a 28.0. It'll be a long way away, I'd imagine. Just how many seconds? 2.8 seconds.
Almost
when you
3. Wow. Still does not look great for Aston Martin. At least 4 seconds off the pace for Lance Stroll.
Just sort of pausing there to let you hear the sound through the speakers around the venue to hear it on our completion of this lap.
On the soft tyre as well. On the soft. 7 seconds adrift.
Continuing on the pit wall. So a good chunk of the field are back in the grain at the moment. Second session, Cam often talks about seconds off George Russell's best. We're starting to ramp things up. More activity on the track. Those back in the lane include Hamilton, Piastri, Isaac Hadjar, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Colapinto, Alonso, who we've seen, still yet to see Max Verstappen re-emerge, and no time either for Sergio Perez in the Cadillac.
How's the middle sector look? Really close between Antonelli and Russell. Fastest middle sector of anyone. He keeps it neat and tidy. But this seems a lot nicer from the young man from Italy. Still on the podium. Around the final corner. Now they're well clear of everybody else. Lawson, who's out there at the moment on the stop. This is a long way shy of the times that we saw with last year's car. A long way shy. So Mercedes looking for the one-lap pace. Others looking for the looking forward to when Ferrari come out with the soft compound tyre and we can determine whether that pace is FP2, Louise Goodman. I know you're keeping busy down there in the paddock.
I am indeed. The crew apparently are working through a sensor issue at the moment, so they are hoping to go out before the session ends, but obviously a little bit of an issue going on there for Cadillac at the moment.
Thanks, Lou. And just while we were watching that, a moment for George Russell down around turn 3, so our cameras, the official Formula 1 TV cameras cut to him rejoining. Let's have a look here. Locks a brake.
At the bump, they've been all getting caught out on it, so just over-committing down there. You saw it, I was looking under the shade. Watch this, hit the bump, This is what we've seen. Unsettles the car, grabs the front left, so front right I should say, misses his apex, aborts the corner and runs round. Now, that was a newer set of soft compound tyres as well. That bump is catching many of them out across all of our Oakfield. Get that car to ride that brake bump. Look at the damage to the front right.
He's out and on. Just over 31 minutes to go. Just talking about. Liam Lawson is 8th, Hulkenberg is 9th, Leclerc down in 10th, but I guess the caveat there, Cam, is some of the longer running that he's focused on so far. Look at Hamilton. Closely, that's a soft compound, so don't read the graphic. Use your eyes and see he's on a soft compound tyre. So Leclerc. All through sector 2, but a personal best in the final sector. Compound tyre, still holding on to that top 5. Team looking over, I think that's George Russell's car, isn't it, after the off? Reasonable, he's fastest of all in the first sector, minutes remaining. On the right, you go straight on, slide. Should be a solid time, and he'll get to the line now. Not going to be fair. 1:76 off Antonelli's time, so that's little moment, as you point out, through the second last corner, maybe costing him a 10th or so. So Lewis 3rd for now, ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc. So Antonelli's back in the lane, so too is Russell. We've covered that. Oscar Piastri is back in the McLaren garage, along with Sergio Perez, who looks like, just from some of the activity with Cadillac there before, that maybe they are getting closer to getting Sergio's car sorted. Let's see. Turn 13. It's good exit too. On the soft compound tyre. That was good. The car looked solid. 26 minutes remaining. He's now out on track on a soft compound tyre. Franco Colapinto down into turn 3.
Turned in slightly skinny there, compromised his corner, ran wide on the exit, and then it got messy into turn 4. So that's the replay for Colapinto, the lock up at the bump as well on the entry to turn 3. That's why he missed the apex, and that completely junked that section of track and that lap for him. Antonelli on an outlap, on a hard compound tyre this time. So back to the race sim for him. George Russell still in the pit lane. He's heading down to turn 11 at the moment. There he is. Get the tyre into the window. And as Lawrence Barretto said, Rusty, and it is a good pickup, the reminder of charge that battery on the lap. The aerial shot, tidy through turn 1 and 2. Pretty cool run. Trucks must have been in and out, causing some undulations there in the braking zone. Look tidy from him. So Oscar Piastri should be to the first sector with 27.8. 25 minutes remaining in the session. What has the McLaren got for us? His teammate Lando Norris, the reigning world champion, is back in 15th at the moment. Oscar Piastri, a personal best through the middle, so he's given up some time, but he's still up on Kimi Antonelli. Heading up to the critical turn 11. Out to the white line. As a result of the bump. Down to this is the tricky complex. Gives up a bit on the apex. A very good sign from the McLaren driver.
Looks like Charles Leclerc is bolting a good lap together here too, Cam, but it did seem for the first 2 seconds. The conclusion of this lap, the middle part of the lap, the middle sector is the best we've actually seen so far. So coming past all of you in the main grandstands here, through the final corner now, through 14.
Max Verstappen, more than 3/10 away. No, he's back on the soft compound. Max Verstappen, 121, medium compound tyre. He's not on that right now, he's on the soft compound. The time of Oscar Piastri at the end of the first sector, but they're building into their weekend. I agree with Lawrence Barretto. I think we've been talking about it. This car has a lot to like about it in the overall package. We can talk about power units, we can talk about capacity expansion, but at the end of the day, it's the stock.
Centre of your screen there is Jim Farley, the global boss, and there is one of the members of the Ford family who are here this weekend. If that doesn't underscore for you the passion for this project, nothing will. Lewis Hamilton, the bump strikes again, it would seem. So, the driver who's currently 4th in this session is another one to succumb to that little, at the moment they hit it, Cam, it triggers the little smoke signal. Almost like rally mode through the gravel track.
And a second away from Oscar Piastri's first sector. Now open goes the active aero, blast down the back straight before turn 9, the fastest chicane on the track, and Lewis Hamilton through the middle sector is a little bit further down, about a 10th, not the best middle sector from him.
A couple of other things to chat about. Esteban Ocon 9th, and Ollie Behrman is inside the top 2. Come in so far with a plan of how you would like to the World Championship. A solid 7th at the moment. That's really encouraging. Piastri at the top, that'll warm the hearts of the Melbourne fans here. The local on top with 20 minutes remaining. Where does this place Hamilton? Does it?
0504. 20 minutes remaining in this session. Second practice, Lando Norris on board. As he enters the circuit.
People think will be quick this weekend. And how does this lap look? Not the greatest, but solid lap times from the Alpine. Now down into the crucial turn 13 and 14. You got to fight the car all the way around and foot flat to the floor and to the line for Pierre Gasly.
Less than 20 minutes to go in this session now. The track temp's actually gone up a little bit too, and the air temp very slightly in this. Look at that, the view from the onboard there, just how clear the skies are in Melbourne. Awesome afternoon. If you've taken the afternoon off to be here. Huge crowd on hand, just as we had yesterday. Lando Norris heads out. He's down in 15th, the world champion in this session. Had an interrupted practice one if you weren't with us. It's some gearbox concerns. His teammates having a...
as well, setting up for his lap. Lap now again. World champion. Talking about the higher rules. And now he has the crown. He has number 1. The politics of the garage. And the scales have looks solid. Let's have a look at the times as he makes his way around. It's a 27.8 he's up against. His personal best for him, but remember, his time has only been good enough for 15th so far. This will be his first lap on a soft compound tyre, the fastest tyre of all. If you're brand new to the sport, it's your first day in Formula 1. If you see red on the side of the car, and I mean the tyres, that is the fastest tyre. It also has tyre, and occasionally is a race tyre. The yellow feature. You've seen a number of them out there in this session in particular with the white sidewall. That's the hard tyre. That is always used in racing. I shouldn't say always. It's used when you have a short stint at the start of a race and you need that kind of...
Not a bad lap time for his first run on the soft, of course, Lando Norris. And now we talk about number 11 on the grid, Cadillac.
lap, with 16.5 minutes remaining in this second practice session, ends up looking like.
Schedule they'll build into this year. They'll hope for a car that lasts the distance, because that will be the story of Sunday. I can tell you, every time we go to new technical regulations, it becomes all about finishing that first race. So they're a long way off. Cadillac and Aston Martin, well, they are where they are. Gets across, just takes up a bit too much curb, unsettles the car. Getting 19th at the moment, about even in the simulation before they had a chance to drive the cars properly. Lawson is 13th at the moment. His best so far is a 21.358 relative to his teammate Lee. Lindblad, they're trying to get him ready to qualify, and that's what happens when you have a rookie. The one rookie out here this weekend, Liam Lawson, doing some running. Sergio Perez. Back we go with Antonelli now, second fastest in this session, only 0.2 away.
There he is, the world champion. Main man, he finished third, but of course, all the glory, all the publicity, the world champion for the first time in his career.
Best that we've seen, in fact, from overall from Australia.
radio message. About the way Aston Martin's approached this. They've come out, they've made a statement, they've backed in the platform they've got, and I think what we're going to do is just turn a bit of a blind eye to Aston Martin for now, knowing really good opportunity to talk about Aston Martin because it's been triggering in my brain. You must qualify within 107%. Max Verstappen, lucky to get away with it. To the speed he was travelling at, that could have been an almighty accident. Let's watch the replay now. Loose on exit, and it looks so dramatic from outside the car, but as always inside, from the outside, the on-board, or at least back here in Australia. The HR. They do not have two drivers within 107%.
Saying they weren't going to do any laps. So the fact they've got one car within that 107% is